Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Patio Farmer. Happy birthday to me and the business. Okay, so it's not really my birthday, but today I'm recording this on July 29th. And July 29th is the Patio Farmer's business birthday. Woohoo! This year marks 7 years of being in business as the Patio Farmer. It feels pretty momentous, I must say. Seven feels like a fairly solid number. That's a long time to do anything, really. And it's kind of crazy to think that little old me, little old Patio Farmer, has been in business for 7 years. Fun fact about me is that I absolutely love birthdays. I love my birthday. I love celebrating other people's birthdays. I think it's a great excuse to celebrate yourself and treat yourself because you know what? You deserve it. We all deserve it. Nothing else matters on your birthday. It's just you and celebrating you and having a great time. So whenever it is your birthday, embrace it, indulge, and treat yourself because you deserve it. So in this week's episode, I'm going to keep this kind of short this week, and I have prepared for you 7 facts, 7 business metrics to celebrate 7 years of being in business and offer just a little glimpse into what it's like running the Patio Farmer. So thanks so much for being here, and let's jump in and get started. Welcome to the Growing Space podcast. I'm your host, Farmer Erin, owner of the Patio Farmer, and I believe that no matter what size space you have, you can grow food at home. Tune in every Tuesday as I share my best tips, tricks, and encouragement for tending to homegrown edible plants. I'm here to support your food growing journey. The Growing Space podcast is sponsored by Plant Club by the Patio Farmer. Plant Club by the Patio Farmer is a monthly subscription service I started in 2020. It's a membership-based opportunity to take your growing journey to the next level. With 4 different membership options, you get to decide the amount and kind of support that's right for you. All Plant Club members receive access to my online community through a platform called Circle. Having access to this platform allows members to share pictures, ask questions, celebrate harvest, and get to know each other. All Plant Club members also have access to free seeds each month, along with information on how to plant and tend to their crops, with seeding instructions and downloadable resources from the Patio Farmers Resource Library. Membership starts at just $14 a month. Join Plant Club today by visiting my website, thepatiofarmer.com/membership. So the first fact that I want to share with you about the Patio Farmer and myself is this is the longest job I have ever had. Yeah. So I am, full disclosure, I'm in my early 30s. Yeah. And, so I've been an adult. I've been a working, well, maybe not an adult because I did have jobs in high school when I was under 18. But let's say, okay, so I started working when I was 16. And so about half my life, I've been working about half my life, a little over half my life. And this is the longest job I have ever held. Crazy. Now, also kind of fun fact about the Patio Farmer. This isn't part of my 7 official facts or metrics, but fun fact about the Patio Farmer is I started the business as a side hustle in 2017. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about me, why I do what I do, I would really encourage you to check out my very first podcast episode 1. But in that episode, I give you more of a history and a background of me and what led me to start the Patio Farmer in the first place. So if you're interested in hearing kind of that origin story, go back and listen to that very first podcast episode. It is episode 1, and you never know what else you'll find along the way as you're scrolling through all of the other episodes. But Yeah, I started the business as a side hustle in 2017. I was working as the farm manager for an urban farm in my hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, which, if this is the first episode you're listening to of the Growing Space podcast, I am based in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're in the USDA Hardiness Zone 8A. Which means that we can pretty much grow food all year round, which is really exciting. But yeah, so I started the business as a side hustle in 2017 just to kind of test the waters and see what the need was, right, for a business like mine. And fast forward to 2020, in between like starting the business, I also helped to start a nonprofit here in Charlotte where I worked for about 3 years. And then in 2020, things shifted. Obviously, it goes without saying, to be honest. And the Patio Farmer took off, and the nonprofit work kind of started to simmer a little bit and dwindle towards the end of 2020. And so in 2021, I went full in and the Patio Farmer since then has been what has occupied most of my time, most of my professional attention. Now, also in 2021, I did start a food system consulting firm as well. So when I'm not running the Patio Farmer, and especially in the off season, I like to have kind of a backlog of consulting projects that I can lean on. So yeah, I've been pretty much full time running the Patio Farmer since 2021. So this is my 4th official year being full time as the Patio Farmer. So that alone feels like a huge accomplishment. So I think my next longest job that I had was when I helped to start that nonprofit, and that was a 3-year gig. So here I am 4 years full time, but 7 years like fully running the business. Crazy. So that's the first fun fact, metric, etc. for you. The second one is that this is the job that I am most proud of. Hands down, I really feel like the Patio Farmer is my baby. I started it from a little seed that was planted in my mind by a friend, and it has grown and blossomed, and I've been able to harvest from it, and it is just so rewarding. And I mean, I feel like anytime you create something from scratch, that thing, whatever it is, whether it's a business or a delicious cake or a relationship, or I don't know, I mean, a tomato seedling that you started from seed. Anytime you start something from scratch, from the beginning, and you watch it bloom and blossom and you reap the rewards, it just has a special tender spot in your heart. And so that is how I feel about the Patio Farmer. It is something that I am very passionate about, and I care deeply about helping other people grow food at home and be able to experience hands-on experience what it means, what it's like to grow their own food. I just think that is so infinitely valuable to our human existence and how we relate to others. So, and I mean, for how we nourish ourselves and how we think of our environment, and there's just so many things that come from growing your own food. So definitely the job that I'm most proud of. Giving you a little insight into what it's like being a solopreneur. Comes my third fact or metric. This is definitely the job where I've had to wear the most hats. As a solopreneur or an entrepreneur that chooses not to have employees and does everything for herself, usually multiple times a day, I am shifting and changing these hats. But as a solopreneur running the Patio Farmer, I wear the business hats of owner, operator, business development, marketing, sales, communications, office administrative support, the service provider, education manager, writer, logistics supervisor, delivery driver, farmer, cheerleader, social media manager and strategist, consultant, podcaster, customer service, order fulfillment, and probably a bazillion other ones, if I could be totally honest with you. I do a lot of things through the Patio Farmer. It's exciting because I have full control. I just do what I want to do, and it's great. I also am only responsible for myself, which I find really freeing and really wonderful. Being a business owner, I provide for myself. I don't worry about providing for others. That's not really what speaks to me. And that's not where I find joy in my business, but I find joy in my business by helping others and supporting myself in doing so. So I wear all of those hats kind of all the time. And I'll be honest, sometimes it's really exhausting. And sometimes I do wish I had someone else that could do things for me. So, but it's okay. It's okay because, no job is perfect. I would say my job is fairly ideal, but there's always going to be things that come along and things that we don't necessarily enjoy doing about our jobs, but they need to get done, right? It's just the job at hand. And there's a lot of things that I really enjoy doing, obviously, right? Like I love teaching. I love, being in other people's spaces and helping them tend to their plants and watch their faces light up when they see something that's been really successful. I love answering questions via email. I love an excuse to go shopping for plants. So getting supplies and materials is always fun for me. Yeah, and I love writing any chance I can get, like my newsletters that I write every week, my general newsletter and my plant club newsletter. I love writing. I really do. That's my favorite way of communicating. I love sharing things on social media. I don't always love having to interact on social media because, the algorithms and all of that can be a lot to navigate and try to find what's successful. But I love sharing the information and I love the engagement that I see on social media. And I think it's a really powerful tool for learning and teaching. So I appreciate that. There's just so many things that you have to do as a solopreneur and an entrepreneur in general. But this has definitely been the job where I've had to wear the most hats, hands down. Okay. Now, this next metric is to be honest, I'm pretty impressed with this metric. And I actually just calculated this as I'm recording. So you're getting the fresh, shock value of this metric. So my bread and butter work through the Patio Farmer is working with clients one-on-one in their growing spaces, helping to answer questions, helping to give new ideas, helping to put together a plan for a season, and then executing that and supporting them as they're executing that. So typically my client journey starts with a consultation. Right? People invite me over. We talk through their ideas. We talk through plans for about 45 minutes. And then I send them a written summary of all the things that we discussed. And then I'm there to help with next steps as well, obviously. So in the last 7 years, I have worked with 487 individuals, unique individuals. So that means that I have had at least 487 consultations with individuals all across the Charlotte area, from Mooresville, north of Charlotte, all the way down to Rock Hill, which dips into South Carolina, from Gastonia, to the west, and Monroe to the east. I have had 487 consultations with individuals who are looking for help, looking for resources, looking for more information about growing their own food. And that makes me so happy to know that. And hopefully by the end of this year, I'll get to 500. What a milestone! 500 individuals who want to grow food and who I've been able to help in some form or fashion. I've reached a lot more than just 500 individuals, but these are 500 individuals or 487 individuals that I have met with in their growing spaces to talk about options and to help them specifically in their space. That feels pretty incredible, if I do say so myself. Another metric kind of along the same lines is how many plant club members I have had So Plant Club, as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Plant Club is my monthly subscription service. And I started this in October of 2020, which I was kind of going out on a limb, starting a new service for growing food in October. Because like, that's not really the time of year that you think about growing food. But I was like, oh, what the heck? Let's do it, see what happens. And it was a great success. Plant Club is still one of my favorite things that I get to do every month. And I am just so incredibly thankful for all of my Plant Club members. If you're interested in joining Plant Club, you should definitely check out the resources and information in the show notes. In August, grow kits are going out this week, and we are going to be learning how to grow kale from seed. So if you're interested in joining Plant Club, I would really love to see you in the membership. And there's more information in the show notes. You can always reach out if you have any questions. I'm trying to figure out like what level you should join at. But Plant Club is a lot of fun. And I have had in the last, 4 years, going on 5 years, last 4 years, I have had off and on, a total of 155 Plant Club members. Wow, 155 people have joined Plant Club in some form or fashion, have been part of that membership in the last 4 years. I still have several individuals who are in Plant Club. I can count them on one hand. So incredibly thankful for you. But I have a handful, literally, of individuals who are original 2020 members. Their membership has never lapsed. And I think that that is beautiful. And so thank you to all of you. You know who you are, but I am just so appreciative. And, Plant Club, we focus on one thing every month. We get really down to the nitty gritty and we delve into all the specifics of that one crop and we have a lot of fun. I share all sorts of resources and I get a little silly sometimes. Like last month, we were learning how to grow bush beans. And so at the end of every weekly newsletter, I had like a super cheesy bean joke to share. Hopefully other Plant Club members thought that that was cute and endearing and not too irritating or silly. But I have a lot of fun with Plant Club. You also get access to an online community that I curate. Plant Club members get special content, even beyond the newsletter. There's a resource library and that has about a dozen, like 12 to 15 different downloadable resources that you can pull off anytime you need them, including like my big book of bugs and a summer harvest guide. I've also got information on starting raised beds and composting and managing frost, which feels a little not super applicable for this time of year, but later it definitely is. How to take care of citrus, like overwintering your citrus plants. So there's a lot in the online community, and I host that through a platform called Circle. And then you also can ask me questions. You can post pictures. You can engage with other people. And this summer, I'm doing a summer diaries mini series. So every Monday morning, I share a video of me out in my growing space showing you what all's going on. It's a great way for people to see what I have going on in my space at home. So another benefit to being in Plant Club, but 155 people in 4 years coming through that membership feels like a great milestone to celebrate. And then another metric between Plant Club and my business clients, that's really how I build monthly stability of income, because a lot of my one-on-one clients, these are seasonal clients. These are people who might be hiring me, 1, 2, 3 times a year for the most part. There are some exceptions there. So kind of in between those seasonal things, I have monthly services that I offer, monthly, weekly, year-round services. So Plant Club is one of those. And then I also have business clients that I go and see. I had my first business client in the summer of 2021. And then I got my next one towards the fall, like around September 2021. And then I added several more in 2022 and 2023. So in the last 3 years, let's say 3 years. In the last 3 years, I have worked with 7 different businesses. I currently work with 4 businesses, 4 different communities across the Charlotte area, but I have worked for a total of 7 different businesses and helping to maintain edible landscaping or community gardens, edible container gardens for patio seating, patio areas, for restaurants, culinary programs who want fresh 0-mile food coming into their kitchens. So I currently work with 3 apartment communities kind of across the Charlotte area. There's one in like close to Montfort Drive. There's one in South Charlotte right off of 485 and Providence Road. And then there's another one in Indian Trail. And then I work with a rooftop garden, 5 raised beds on a rooftop in South End. It's beautiful, but it's for a corporate like culinary program. And that's a really special space. I mean, they're all special spaces, but I love being able to visit them on a weekly basis. And I have 2 additional business clients that might be coming on this fall. So that's exciting and that's worth celebrating. So hoorah, go business clients. If you know of a business or know of an apartment community that you think might benefit from having a community garden as an amenity, or, is interested in increasing the green space, or I don't know, just, whatever, looking for fresh organic produce in the Charlotte area, feel free to share my contact information with them. I love my business clients so much, and find a lot of joy in being able to visit those spaces every week, which I do weekly, year round, all year round. I go see my business clients. That was number 6, right? So our last one, my 7th metric or fun fact to share, is my motivation for being in business. And this really comes down to the individual and walking alongside an individual who feels intimidated by the idea of growing their own food at home, but cares so deeply about that practice or about learning more about growing food that they are seeking help, they're seeking resources, and they reach out to me. They find me and we're able to connect. I think, my personal motivation for running the Patio Farmer is to be able to work with people directly, one-on-one, provide coaching, walk them through the process of growing their own food, being there to help alleviate any doubts or concerns, to encourage them, to reassure them that they're doing what they need to be doing, they're doing the right thing for their plants, for their space, and really just encouraging and teaching along the way. The reason why I feel so strongly about teaching other people how to grow their own food is, I think that as a society, we have become so disconnected with understanding where our food comes from, how it's produced, the seasonality of food, the struggles of our farmers, having to be dependent on factors that are beyond our control, like the rain. It is currently raining as I'm recording this at the end of July. There's so many things that are beyond our control, but our food system, that's what supports us. And that's what keeps us together as humans and as communities. We have to feel nourished. We have to have fuel. So when I have clients who have this moment, this light bulb moment where they make the connection between them trying to grow food for themselves. So once the hobby kind of goes beyond just the hobby and you start to make these connections with the world around you and having, those realizations of, wow, this is what it takes to grow a pint of tomatoes. It might take you an entire season to grow a pint of cherry tomatoes. And then you go to the farmer's market on Saturdays and you see farmers with pints, entire tables filled with pints of tomatoes. You go to the grocery store in December when it's not tomato season, at least not here in Charlotte, and you're able to buy pints of tomatoes. You just think about that. And it's like, okay, well, some farmer somewhere is having to deal with the same challenges I am in my growing space, except he has or she has acres and fields full of cherry tomatoes where I just have, one or two cherry tomato plants. And they have these same conditions to contend with. Their fruits are splitting. They have horde worms and pests too. And their livelihoods depend on producing food. And, too, the seasonality of things, like knowing that really a cherry tomato just wants to grow for a few months and then it's done. It's ready to, return to the earth as compost. Yet we can go to the grocery store anytime and buy a pint of cherry tomatoes. Like, I just feel like when we have that experience of growing something for ourselves, we're able to put all of our other food into perspective. And I feel like that has the power to change minds, to change lifestyle, to change purchasing power, and hopefully encourage a more sustainable, a more community-based mindset for people. So it's kind of a long-winded diatribe there, but that connection with our food and understanding our food system, the massive nature of our food system, when it is able to become a personal experience, I think is just so powerful. And any small role that I am able to play with helping individuals and people and communities understand that and have those light bulb moments, it's what I'm here for. That's why the Patio Farmer is the Patio Farmer. So thank you for those moments. And thanks for listening to all of these fun little facts and metrics about 7 years, celebrating 7 years being in business as the Patio Farmer. Okay, so next week, I am going to be sharing some summer encouragements because we are smack dab in the middle of the dog days of summer. And I'm going to be sharing some summer encouragements for you to help motivate you, get you across the finish line, get you through August. Next week, we will officially be in August, which just feels insane to think about, but I'm excited for a new month. I don't know about y'all. And I'm also going to be sharing a little introduction to companion planting. I know that this is a topic that is of interest to others, and I love companion planting. I practice companion planting all the time. So next week we'll do summer encouragements and a little intro into companion planting for you. And then the week after that, I'll give you a little forecast, if you will. We are going to pick up with our plant family mini series. Yeah, leading up to fall, because fall will be here before we know it. We'll be able to plant a whole new round of veggies. And I have 4 more plant families to share with you before fall gets here. And so that'll be our lead up to fall. We'll kind of wrap up this plant family mini series with those episodes, and then we'll take it from there. If you have listened to this podcast in the past, then you'll know that at the end of every episode, I like to share a fun little fact, which I've been sharing a lot of fun little facts or tidbits. These little sign-off tidbits, they're usually not related to the content of the podcast. But I will share that another fun little fact about me, since we are celebrating the Patio Farmer's birthday, right, is I love kale. That's my fun little sign-off fact. I am obsessed with kale. And I could eat kale every day. Every day, a little bit, every meal. The more kale, the better. I always look forward to the spring and the fall because that's when we get to grow kale. I always plant so much kale. I mean, I plant other things too because I love all vegetables, but kale is one of my favorites. And that is what we're growing next month in Plant Club at the Grow level. So if you want to get in on that fun, help me celebrate my little business birthday, and consider joining Plant Club. Even if you just join for 1 month, you can totally do that. You can totally join just for August and get that grow kit and learn all the magical things about growing kale. So there you go. I have plenty of other vegetables that I love. I don't like to have favorites, but I am pretty obsessed with kale. So yeah, if you're interested, take a look at the show notes. And thank you so much for listening to today's episode and for allowing me to share just a little bit of insight and encouragement for you and your growing space. I hope things are thriving and you're reaping lots of harvests and lots of rewards this time of year. And I will see you next week for summer encouragements and companion planting. Thanks again for tuning into this week's episode of the Growing Space podcast. I hope that you learned something new and that you were able to take this new information home with you and implement into your growing journey and into your growing space. As always, I am here to support you in your food growing journey. If you'd like to learn more about the different services and resources and membership programs that I run through the Patio Farmer, please check out my website, thepatiofarmer.com. You can also follow me on social media. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and oh my gosh, most recently, TikTok. Wow. I know. Here I am. Patio Farmer is on TikTok. It's very exciting. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give it a like or a rating or a review if you want. Maybe share a little comment about your favorite part of the episode. Share it with a friend. The more interactions I get with my little podcast online, the more I'm able to help people just like you in their food growing journeys. As always, thanks for being here, and I will see you again next week.